Hello everybody, you can call me Hunch. I'm going to talk about a few things today. I've talked about it a few times in the past. If you're new here, I'm a big Stacks Bitcoin bull. I've been recently getting into meme coins. And I'm going to talk about meme coins here, but also a couple businesses, so we're going to mix both. So there's some, talk going around that we're going to have a meme super cycle. A lot of these tokens, if they don't pay dividends, right, this is how it's put, it's basically vaporware, right? And I've been saying this for a long time, like, are these securities, right? Are you owning a piece of the business, right? Like, for example, a Stacks token really is nothing special, but it is used in help paying you a dividend from the fees generated from the use of the smart contract platform that it has, so on and so forth. But if you look at many of the tokens, right, a lot of them are VC pump and dumps, right? They're trying to get you as exit liquidity. They own a large share of the tokens, so on and so forth. But Stacks seems a little different, right? You get this dividend, you get access to a function of Bitcoin that you don't have on the L1. So pretty interesting. Now, that's why I think there is some legitimate philosophy behind this meme coin super cycle, right? Because if everything that doesn't pay a dividend is just a token, right, or like a share in a company or whatever, and all their friends get all the tokens before you, why wouldn't somebody want to own a ground up kind of thing where the tokens are more fairly distributed? Now, that's not always the case, right? A lot of times the rug pulls on Solana and so forth, but a lot of these are community built, right? Like, for example, Leo on Stacks, that's a community first, right? They have a DEX tool behind it, right? Why wouldn't you want to be involved in something like that from the ground up, getting funds like that, than having all these rich, people dump on you their tokens with a huge supersized allotment to themselves? So there is some legitimacy, I think, to this meme coin cycle. Now, if you're just into Bitcoin, I would be looking at things like Billy Dollar Cat, or it's called $1 Billion Cat. I personally like Based Internet Panda. I also like Newt. Okay, that's a penguin thing. All right, so there's a few in there, right? I personally think Based Internet Panda is the best community going right now. It's around 6 million. We started talking about it at fairly low, maybe 1 million to 2 million. Now, I also want to talk about, those legitimate businesses that don't pay you for their holding their token, like Stacks or maybe Solana, or if you have a token like Liquidium, right, that doesn't pay you anything, maybe it gives you some perks. I think in the future, right, if they generate fees, they're going to want to pay you a dividend, right, because that gives an incentive to raise funds, so on and so forth, get funding. But I do think something like Liquidium, also Trio, which is Ordinalsbot, are real businesses. Ordinalsbot pumped, 300 or 250%, or it went from like $1 to $4 in some sense. Then it pulled back, right? I think in this situation is something like Jim Cramer used to say about Apple. You don't want to trade it, you just want to own it, right? And I think having exposure to some real businesses, in addition to meme coins, right, you don't have to put a lot at these valuations, right? Liquidium at 14 million, Ordinalsbot, right, fully diluted might be higher, right, around 60 million, but right, circulating is around 4 or 5 million, right? So low. You have to pay attention to that. You have to do some of your research. But I think, like, you set it and forget it. If the business goes to zero, you didn't bet the farm on it, right? But you have some exposure to it. I think that is a legitimate thing to do. I think it's smart to have exposure to memes, to Stacks and Bitcoin, but also find things that can turn into businesses, because even if everyone says these aren't securities or whatever, there is a portion of the token that acts like a security, right? Because you are getting, I feel like, access to that business or future dividends if they do decide to do that. And I think in the Bitcoin space, the only real businesses I've really seen, maybe, and Stacks isn't a business, it's more like a DAO, a decentralized product, right, that pays fees for creating smart contract use. But other businesses like Liquidium or Trio, right, you pay to get your ordinals published on the Bitcoin blockchain or hashed on the whatever you want to call it. There is a service associated with that. Liquidium, you lend out, so it's a lending business. I think those are legitimate things to want to hold and see if they grow into a real business. And if they go belly up, you know, at least you got in at a low market cap. You took a thought out risk, right? So I just want to throw that out there. You know, I think it's interesting. Anyway, you can call me Hunch. That's all I had to say. I'll talk to you guys later.